Before we begin this quiet journey, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and settle in. These long-form space journeys are created to be returned to, night after night, whenever you need calm, wonder, or gentle sleep. Now, allow your breathing to slow. Tonight, we are not rushing anywhere. There is no destination to reach quickly, no facts to memorize, no urgency to follow. Only distance and silence and the slow unfolding of space. Imagine yourself floating gently above Earth. Below you, the planet glows softly, a thin blue line wrapped in darkness, fragile and calm. Above you, the stars wait patiently, unchanged by human time. In this journey, we will travel outward, beyond familiar orbits, beyond the warmth of the sun, and toward the very edge of the solar system. Not as explorers in a hurry, but as quiet observers, drifting from one region of space to the next. With each chapter, the light will soften, the distances will grow larger, and the universe will become quieter. Let your thoughts slow as we leave Earth behind and begin an epic, gentle journey to the edge of the solar system. Chapter 1. Leaving Earth Behind. Earth is the only home we have ever known, a world of oceans and clouds, of continents slowly breathing beneath the atmosphere, of nights filled with familiar stars. From its surface, space has always felt distant, something far above, unreachable, almost abstract. But now, gently, we begin to move away. At first, the planet does not seem to change much. The blues remain deep. The whites of the clouds still swirl in slow, elegant patterns. City lights glimmer faintly on the night side, tracing coastlines and rivers like quiet constellations made by human hands. From this distance, borders vanish. Noise fades. Earth becomes a single, unified presence, calm, delicate, alive. As we drift higher, the atmosphere reveals itself as it truly is, a thin, fragile veil wrapped around the planet, a soft gradient from deep blue to absolute black. Everything that has ever been breathed, spoken, dreamed, or remembered exists within this narrow shell. Seen from here, it feels impossibly small. Below us, the planet turns slowly, unhurried. A full rotation takes 24 hours, but from space, time feels different. There is no rush, no morning alarms, no seasons changing abruptly, just motion steady and patient. We pass beyond the altitude of satellites, machines that circle Earth endlessly, silent witnesses to weather, communication, and human curiosity. They drift like artificial moons, doing their work without awareness, without rest. Soon, even they fall behind us. Now, Earth begins to shrink. The continents blur together. The oceans merge into a single, vast darkness, reflecting only a faint trace of sunlight. Clouds become wisps, then threads, then nothing at all. The planet's glow remains a soft halo, fading gradually into the surrounding void. It is here that many astronauts describe a shift in perception. From this distance, Earth no longer feels infinite. It feels precious, vulnerable, temporary. A small island of warmth suspended in a cold, endless sea. The silence deepens. Sound has no place here. There is no wind, no echo, no vibration carried through air. Space does not respond. It does not react. It simply exists. Ahead of us lies darkness, not an absence, but a presence of its own. A canvas scattered with stars, each one distant beyond imagination. Some of those points of light have already died. Some are only just beginning to shine. Their light crosses unimaginable distances to reach us, arriving without urgency, without intention. As Earth recedes further, the sun becomes our dominant light source. It burns steadily, unchanged by our movement. holding the solar system together with invisible threads of gravity. Even now, we are firmly within its grasp, carried along in an immense cosmic dance. Yet despite the sun's power, its warmth fades quickly with distance. Space cools rapidly. Shadows grow deeper. The contrast between light and dark softens into something more uniform, more subdued. We are no longer travelers bound to a surface. There is no up, no down, only direction outward. Earth is now a pale blue point behind us, a single pixel in the vastness. All of human history compressed into a dot small enough to disappear behind a fingertip. Every joy and sorrow, every war and peace, every life ever lived contained in that fading glow. And still, the universe remains indifferent. Not cruel, not kind, simply vast. This is the first true step of our journey. The moment when Earth becomes just another object in space. Familiar, beloved, but no longer central. From here on, distance will become our constant companion. Ahead, the moon waits quietly, orbiting in silent loyalty. Beyond it lie the inner planets, bathed in sunlight. Farther still, worlds of gas and ice, rings and storms, darkness and cold. But for now, we linger in this transition between home and the unknown. Allow yourself to feel the calm of it, the release of gravity's hold, the freedom of drifting without effort. Earth continues its orbit, unconcerned by our departure. Life goes on below, unaware of this slow, gentle goodbye. As the planet fades completely into the background, our attention turns forward toward the first companion of our outward journey. The moon awaits us in silence, and with it, the next step into deeper space. Chapter 2. Crossing the realm of the moon. The moon has always been close, yet never truly familiar. From Earth, it rises and falls with a quiet certainty, marking time without words. It pulls at the oceans, steadies the planet's tilt, and lights the night with borrowed glow. For all of human history, it has been a constant companion, watched, named, worshipped, measured. Now, slowly, we approach it. From a distance, the moon appears smooth and serene, its surface washed in soft grey light. There are no clouds to soften its features, no oceans to reflect the Sunday. Every mark upon it is permanent. Every crater, every scar, a memory of ancient impacts that occurred billions of years ago. As we draw closer, detail begins to emerge. Vast plains of hardened lava, the Lunar Maria, stretch across the surface like frozen seas. They were once molten, long before Earth had stable continents, long before life took its first breath. Here, the moon does not rotate as we pass, or rather, it rotates in perfect synchronization with its orbit, always showing the same face to Earth. A quiet gravitational lock, maintained for eons. The far side, unseen from the surface below, remains hidden from casual observation. A reminder that even the most familiar objects can hold secrets. There is no atmosphere here, no sound, no erosion. A footprint would remain unchanged for millions of years. Shadows are sharp and absolute, falling into blackness where sunlight cannot reach. We pass above towering crater walls, some stretching for hundreds of kilometers. Impact basins overlap like rings in still water, each one marking a violent moment in deep time. And yet, in this silence, there is no sense of chaos, only stillness. The moon's gravity is gentle. It tugs at us faintly, a reminder of its influence without resistance. If we were to descend, movement would feel slow, almost dreamlike. Each step would carry us farther than expected, as though the moon itself were reluctant to hold on. But we do not stop. We continue onward, crossing the space where humanity first left its home. This region, once the furthest point ever reached by human explorers, now feels like a quiet threshold, a gateway between what is known and what lies beyond. Here, distance begins to change its meaning. The Moon orbits Earth at an average distance of nearly 400,000 kilometers. On Earth, this seems vast. In the solar system, it is almost nothing. A brief pause, a single breath between heartbeats. As the Moon drifts behind us, Earth and its companion form a distant pair, 2 points of light locked in an endless dance. Together, they shrink rapidly, losing detail, losing dominance. Ahead, space opens wider. The sun still shines brightly, but its presence begins to feel less personal. Its light arrives without warmth, illuminating without comfort. Shadows stretch longer, darkness deepens. This is the region where Earth's influence fades and solar gravity becomes more pronounced. A subtle transition, impossible to mark with a line or a boundary. Space does not announce changes. It allows them to happen quietly. Stars remain fixed, their positions unchanged by our movement. They are so distant that even traveling millions of kilometers barely alters their apparent arrangement. The constellations you know from Earth remain intact, indifferent to our progress. There is a strange calm in this realization. Movement without sensation, speed without wind, distance without effort. We are traveling faster than any aircraft, faster than any storm, faster than any living thing has ever moved naturally, and yet there is no feeling of motion at all. Only time tells the story. Minutes pass. Hours. The Moon becomes indistinguishable from other objects, then disappears entirely into the background of stars. Earth fades further still, now barely brighter than its neighbors. With each kilometer, familiarity dissolves. Human concepts lose their sharpness here. Borders, calendars, urgency, they all belong to a world we have already left behind. Out here, there is only scale, vastness layered upon vastness. The inner solar system lies ahead, filled with worlds shaped by heat and light. Mercury, scorched and airless. Venus, wrapped in suffocating clouds. Mars, cold and red, carrying traces of ancient water. But before we reach them, we drift through open space, a region often imagined as empty, yet rich with invisible forces. Solar wind streams past us, a constant flow of charged particles released by the sunday. Magnetic fields twist and stretch, forming protective bubbles around planets, shaping radiation, guiding energy across millions of kilometers. We cannot see these structures with our eyes, but they are there. Silent architectures of force, holding the solar system together in ways that feel almost organic. The further we travel, the quieter the mind becomes. Thought slow, attention narrows. There is less to react to, less to process. The universe offers no sudden changes here, no demands, just distance, and the steady presence of light. It is in this calm that many find sleep easiest, not because of boredom, but because of release, the release of needing to be anywhere else. We are exactly where we need to be, drifting forward, unhurried. As the Moon's realm fully recedes behind us, we cross into a space dominated not by companionship, but by solitude, a place where planets are no longer neighbors, but destinations separated by vast emptiness. Ahead, the first true worlds of the solar system begin to take shape. Small at first, subtle, almost lost in the glare of the sunday, but they are there, waiting patiently, orbiting in silence. And as we continue this gentle outward motion, our path leads us toward the inner planets, worlds shaped by fire, time, and sunlight, where the journey truly begins to deepen. Chapter 3. The Inner Planets. As we move deeper into the solar system, the sun grows larger in our awareness, though not in warmth. Its light dominates this region, filling space with a steady glow that softens shadows and gives nearby worlds their character. Here, distance is still measured in millions of kilometers, yet everything feels closer, more tightly bound by gravity and heat. The first world to greet us is Mercury. From afar, Mercury appears small and unassuming, a rocky sphere bathed in intense sunlight. But as we draw nearer, its surface tells a story of extremes. Days here are unimaginably hot, nights unimaginably cold. With almost no atmosphere to distribute heat, temperatures swing violently between scorching brightness and frozen darkness. Mercury rotates slowly, taking nearly 60 Earth days to complete a single spin. Yet its year-one orbit around the Sun lasts only 88 Earth days. This strange rhythm creates days that stretch longer than seasons, where sunlight lingers for weeks, then vanishes just as slowly. Its surface is scarred and ancient. Craters overlap craters, some dating back to the early formation of the solar system. Massive cliffs, towering for kilometers, cut across the landscape, formed as the planet slowly cooled and shrank. Mercury is a world that has been tightening itself inward for billions of years. We do not linger long. The Sun's pull grows stronger as we pass, its gravity guiding our path forward. Light intensifies briefly, then softens again as we continue outward. Ahead lies Venus. From space, Venus is wrapped in beauty and deception. Thick clouds swirl endlessly around the planet, reflecting sunlight so efficiently that Venus appears brighter than any other planet in Earth's sky. For centuries, it was imagined as Earth's twin, similar in size, similar in mass, perhaps even similar in destiny. But beneath those clouds lies a very different reality. Venus is a world of crushing pressure and relentless heat. Its atmosphere, composed mostly of carbon dioxide, traps warmth so effectively that surface temperatures remain hot enough to melt lead day and night, pole to pole. There are no seasons here, no relief from the heat. The clouds themselves are layers of sulfuric acid, drifting slowly in global circulation. Lightning flashes silently within them. Winds high above the surface move faster than the planet's rotation, completing a full lap around Venus in just a few days. Venus rotates backward, opposite to most planets, and so slowly that a single day lasts longer than a year. Time behaves strangely here, untethered from familiar cycles. We cannot see the surface directly, but radar maps reveal vast plains of volcanic rock, ancient lava flows, and enormous shield volcanoes. Venus is still geologically alive, reshaping itself beneath its thick atmospheric veil. A cautionary world, a reminder of how small differences can lead to vastly different outcomes. We drift onward. The Sun now sits behind us at a comfortable distance, its light gentler, less overwhelming. Space begins to cool again. Shadows regain their depth. Ahead, a small red world waits patiently. Mars. Mars has always held a special place in human imagination. From Earth, its reddish glow stands out against the night sky, subtle yet unmistakable. For generations, it has been seen as a possible second home, a place where life might once have existed or perhaps could exist again. As we approach, Mars reveals itself as quiet and stark. Its surface is shaped by dust, wind, and ancient water. Vast plains stretch beneath pale skies. Dry riverbeds snake across the terrain, traces of a wetter past preserved in stone. Mars is cold now. Its thin atmosphere cannot hold heat effectively, allowing temperatures to drop far below freezing. Yet signs of former rivers, lakes, and possibly oceans suggest that long ago, Mars was warmer, wetter, and more Earth-like. Towering above the planet rises Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system. Its slopes stretch so gently that from the ground, it would be nearly impossible to recognize its true size. Nearby, the Valles Marineris Canyon system cuts across the planet like a scar, deeper and longer than any canyon on Earth. Mars rotates at a pace familiar to us, a day just over 24 hours. Seasons exist here, though longer and colder than those on Earth. Polar ice caps grow and shrink with time, composed of both water ice and frozen carbon dioxide. It is a world balanced between memory and loss. As we pass Mars, its small moons Phobos and Deimos drift nearby like captured debris, irregular and fragile. They orbit quickly, destined one day to either crash into the planet or break apart into a ring. With Mars behind us, the inner solar system begins to feel complete. These worlds, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, each tell a different story of what happens when conditions shift just slightly. Too close to the Sun, too much atmosphere, too little magnetic protection. Each outcome diverges dramatically, shaping planets into radically different places. Between these orbits lies space that is far from empty. Microscopic dust particles drift silently, remnants of ancient collisions and comet trails. Solar radiation continues its outward flow, though already weakening with distance. The Sun's influence remains strong, but its dominance slowly loosens. Earth now feels very far away. Its blue glow has long since disappeared from view, replaced by memory. The sense of home becomes abstract, no longer tied to sight, but to thought. The inner planets fall behind us, becoming points of light once more. Their individuality fades as scale takes over. What once felt like destinations now feel like markers along a much longer road. Ahead lies a new region, one filled with debris left over from the solar system's formation. A place where countless rocky bodies orbit quietly, mostly unnoticed. The asteroid belt awaits. As we continue outward, the solar system begins to widen. Distances grow larger. Travel feels slower, even as speed remains unchanged. The rhythm of the journey shifts again, preparing us for the vast middle distances that lie ahead. Drifting calmly, without urgency, we move toward the scattered remnants between worlds where the next chapter of our journey quietly unfolds. Chapter 4. The Asteroid Belt. Beyond the orbit of Mars, the solar system opens into a quieter, less defined region. The warmth of the sun fades another subtle degree, and space feels more expansive, more patient. Here, between the inner rocky worlds and the distant giants, lies a vast collection of remnants from the solar system's earliest days. This is the Asteroid Belt. From a distance, it is often imagined as a crowded field of tumbling rocks, a dangerous gauntlet where collisions are inevitable. But the reality is far more serene. The asteroids are separated by immense distances, often millions of kilometers apart. There is space here more than enough, and silence reigns. As we drift into the belt, small bodies begin to appear one by one. Irregular shapes, slowly rotating, each following its own stable orbit around the Sun. Some are metallic and dense, others rocky and porous, held together loosely by gravity alone. These objects are ancient. They formed more than 4.5 billion years ago during the chaotic birth of the solar system. While planets grew through collision and accumulation, these fragments remained prevented from forming a larger world by the gravitational influence of Jupiter, whose distant presence shaped this region from afar. Each asteroid is a time capsule. Their surfaces preserve material largely unchanged since the dawn of planetary formation. Studying them offers glimpses into the raw ingredients that once built worlds, including Earth itself. We pass near Ceres, the largest object in the asteroid belt and the only one classified as a dwarf planet. Unlike its smaller neighbors, Ceres is nearly spherical, its gravity strong enough to shape it into a rounded form. Ceres is a quiet, icy world. Beneath its dark surface lies water ice, possibly even a subsurface ocean. Bright salt deposits mark places where liquid once reached the surface, briefly escaping before freezing and evaporating into space. It is a reminder that even in regions thought to be barren, complexity can exist. Other notable asteroids drift by as well. Vesta, with its layered structure resembling a miniature planet. Pallas, tilted and inclined. Countless unnamed bodies, each with a unique shape and story. Some asteroids rotate rapidly, completing a spin in just a few hours. Others turn so slowly that a single rotation can take days. Their movements are gentle, predictable, unaffected by atmosphere or erosion. Shadows cling tightly to their surfaces, deepening craters and ridges. Light glances off metallic edges, then vanishes into darkness. There is no sound of collision, no dust clouds rising, no chaos. Only motion. The farther we travel through the belt, the more apparent it becomes that this region is not a barrier, but a transition. A gradual shift from the dense, warm inner solar system to the vast, colder realms beyond. Here, the sun appears smaller. Its light still defines direction, but its authority weakens. The sense of centrality fades. Between the asteroids, space feels profoundly empty. Distances stretch so wide that individual objects disappear from view almost as soon as they appear. Time seems to slow further, unmarked by planetary rotation or surface features. This is a place where scale begins to dominate experience. We are reminded that the solar system is not a series of neatly spaced destinations, but a gradient, a continuous flow from one region to the next. Boundaries exist only in our descriptions, not in space itself. Dust particles drift quietly, remnants of collisions long past. Some will eventually spiral inward toward the Sunday. Others will be nudged outward, escaping entirely. Motion here is subtle, governed by gravity and time rather than force. As we pass beyond the densest part of the asteroid belt, objects grow fewer and farther between. The sense of openness increases. Darkness becomes more complete. Ahead, something immense begins to influence our path. Even before it comes into view, its presence is felt through gravity. Orbits subtly bend, trajectories align. Jupiter lies beyond. The asteroid belt thins as we approach the domain of the gas giants. What once felt like a field of remnants now feels like a memory fading behind us. The inner solar system, with its rocky worlds and familiar rhythms, feels increasingly distant. Light takes longer to travel back toward the Sunday heat diminishes. Space grows colder. Yet ahead, new wonders await, worlds of immense size and power, whose storms dwarf planets, and whose gravity shapes the architecture of the entire solar system. As we drift beyond the last scattered stones of the asteroid belt, the path forward becomes clear. We are leaving the realm of small worlds behind. The giants are next. Chapter 5. The Realm of the Gas Giants. As the final fragments of the asteroid belt fade into the darkness behind us, space undergoes a quiet transformation. The sun, now distant, appears smaller and more subdued, its light spreading thinly across the vastness. Yet something immense lies ahead, a presence so powerful that it reshapes everything around it. Jupiter emerges first. At a distance, it is unmistakable. A colossal sphere of swirling clouds, banded in soft creams, deep browns, and muted reds. Even from far away, Jupiter dominates the region, its gravity reaching outward like invisible arms, guiding moons, asteroids, and dust alike. Jupiter is not simply a planet, it is a system. As we draw closer, its scale becomes difficult to comprehend. Jupiter is more massive than all the other planets combined. If it were placed where Earth orbits, it would appear nearly as large as the Sun does in our sky. And yet, It is not a star, it never gained enough mass to ignite nuclear fusion in its core. Its atmosphere is a world unto itself. Vast cloud bands circle the planet at different speeds, creating turbulent boundaries where storms are born. Among them drifts the Great Red Spot, a storm larger than Earth that has raged for centuries, perhaps longer. Its color shifts slowly over time, deepening and fading like a living thing. Lightning flashes within Jupiter's clouds, far more powerful than any storm on Earth. Winds race at hundreds of kilometers per hour, driven by internal heat that still escapes from the planet's depths. Jupiter radiates more energy than it receives from the Sun, a lingering warmth from its formation billions of years ago. There is no solid surface here, only increasing pressure, layer upon layer of gas compressing into exotic states of matter. Hydrogen, the simplest element in the universe, behaves strangely under such conditions, becoming metallic, conducting electricity, generating an immense magnetic field. This magnetic field is the largest structure of its kind in the solar system, stretching millions of kilometers into space. It traps radiation, creating intense belts that would be lethal to unprotected life. Even here, at a distance, its influence shapes the environment. Around Jupiter, its moons orbit in graceful complexity. Io glows with volcanic fury, its surface reshaped constantly by eruptions driven by tidal forces. Lava lakes boil and spill, painting the moon in sulfurous colors. Europa, smooth and bright, hides a vast ocean beneath its icy shell, a dark, salty sea that may hold the conditions necessary for life. Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system, possesses its own magnetic field, a rarity among moons. Callisto, ancient and cratered, preserves the scars of deep time. Together, they form a miniature planetary system, each world locked in gravitational resonance with the others, their orbits synchronized in a cosmic rhythm. We drift past Jupiter slowly, respectfully, aware that even a small miscalculation here would send us spiraling inward or flung far outward. The planet does not announce its power. It simply exists, massive and unyielding. Beyond Jupiter lies Saturn. If Jupiter commands through sheer force, Saturn captivates through elegance. From afar, Saturn's rings are visible as a thin, luminous band encircling the planet. As we approach, they expand into a vast, intricate structure composed of countless particles, ice, rock, and dust, each orbiting independently, yet forming a unified whole. The rings stretch hundreds of thousands of kilometers across, yet are astonishingly thin, in many places. No thicker than a mountain is tall. They glow softly in reflected sunlight, shifting from bright white to pale gold as angles change. Saturn itself is a gentle giant. Its atmosphere is less turbulent than Jupiter's. Its colors more subdued, soft yellows, muted browns, faint blues near the poles. Winds still roar here, but with a calmer presence, a slower pulse. Like Jupiter, Saturn emits more heat than it receives, a quiet internal warmth seeping outward. Deep within, pressures rise until hydrogen takes on metallic properties, generating a magnetic field, though smaller and more symmetrical than Jupiter's. Saturn's moons drift through this realm like distant companions. Titan stands out immediately. Shrouded in thick orange haze, it is the only moon in the solar system with a dense atmosphere. Beneath its clouds lie rivers, lakes, and seas not of water, but of liquid methane and ethane. A world both alien and strangely familiar, where chemistry follows different rules, yet echoes processes found on Earth. Enceladus, smaller and brighter, reveals something extraordinary. Jets of water vapor and ice erupt from fractures near its south pole, feeding Saturn's rings and hinting at a warm ocean beneath its icy crust. In this cold region of space, liquid water persists, hidden and protected. Other moons, Rhea, Dione, Tethys, Iapetus, Each carry unique features, from towering cliffs to stark color contrasts, shaped by impacts and internal processes over billions of years. As we pass Saturn, its rings slowly slip behind us, narrowing until they become a thin line, then vanish entirely. The planet itself recedes, its gentle glow fading into the background of stars. Here, the solar system feels profoundly different from the inner worlds we left behind. Distance stretches further, orbits widen. The sun's light weakens noticeably, casting long, dim shadows. Space grows colder, quieter, more sparse. Jupiter and Saturn are not merely destinations, they are guardians. Their immense gravity has shaped the solar system's history, deflecting comets, sculpting asteroid paths, influencing the formation and survival of inner worlds. And yet, beyond them lies an even more distant realm. Ahead wait the ice giants' worlds colored in blue and green, cold and mysterious, orbiting in regions where sunlight is little more than a memory. As we continue our gentle drift outward, the gas giants fall behind us, their influence gradually loosening. The journey now leads into deeper darkness, toward colder worlds, and toward the quiet edge of planetary dominion. Chapter 6. The Ice Giants. As Jupiter and Saturn fade into the distance, the solar system grows quieter. The sun is now far behind us, reduced to a brilliant star among many, its warmth diluted by distance. Light still reaches us, but it feels thinner, more fragile, as though stretched across an enormous expanse. Here, the realm of the ice giants begins. The first to emerge from the darkness is Uranus. At a glance, Uranus appears calm and almost featureless, a smooth sphere, tinted pale, blue-green, glowing softly against the blackness. Its color comes from methane in the atmosphere, absorbing red light and allowing blue tones to dominate. Unlike the dramatic bands of Jupiter or the striking rings of Saturn, Uranus seems restrained, subtle, nearly shy. But this stillness is deceptive. Uranus is a world defined by extremes. Its most striking feature is not visible at first glance, but revealed through motion. The planet is tilted on its side. Its axis lies nearly parallel to its orbit, causing Uranus to roll around the Sun rather than spin upright. This tilt creates seasons unlike any other in the solar system. For decades at a time, one pole is bathed in continuous sunlight, while the other remains in darkness. Then, slowly, the roles reverse. Entire hemispheres experience long, unbroken days followed by equally long nights. Despite this strange orientation, Uranus is surprisingly cold. It radiates very little internal heat, far less than the gas giants closer to the Sunday. Its atmosphere feels subdued, almost dormant, as though the planet has lost much of the energy it once possessed. Yet beneath this calm exterior lies complexity. Uranus is composed largely of water, ammonia, and methane ices surrounding a rocky core, not ice in the familiar frozen sense, but compressed, superheated fluids under immense pressure. These materials form a thick mantle where temperatures and forces reach states difficult to imagine. The planet's magnetic field is equally unusual. It is tilted and offset from the center, creating a chaotic and asymmetric magnetosphere that twists dramatically as Uranus rotates. Space around the planet becomes a shifting environment, shaped by invisible forces that change hour by hour. Its rings are faint and narrow, composed of dark material that absorbs more light than it reflects. They circle quietly, barely visible unless light catches them at just the right angle. Uranus's moons drift nearby, each one shaped by ancient impacts and internal processes. Miranda stands out, a small moon marked by towering cliffs, fractured terrain, and mismatched regions that look as though pieces were reassembled after catastrophic events. It is a world stitched together by gravity and time. As we pass Uranus, its pale glow recedes quickly, swallowed by the vastness behind us. The solar system feels thinner here, stretched wide and sparse. Ahead lies Neptune. Neptune announces itself with color. A deeper blue, richer and more saturated than Uranus. Neptune stands out sharply against the darkness. Though similar in size and composition, Neptune is far more active, a world alive with motion and energy. Despite being the most distant planet from the Sun, Neptune radiates more internal heat than Uranus. This energy drives powerful winds, the fastest recorded in the solar system, reaching speeds greater than 2,000 kilometers per hour. Clouds streak across the planet in rapid motion, forming dark storms that appear and disappear over time. The most famous of these was the Great Dark Spot, a massive storm system observed drifting through Neptune's atmosphere before fading away. Others have formed since, evidence of a dynamic and restless world. Neptune's atmosphere is layered and complex. High-altitude clouds of methane ice reflect sunlight brightly, while deeper layers absorb light, creating dramatic contrasts. The planet's internal heat escapes steadily, fueling circulation and turbulence. Its magnetic field, like Uranus's, is tilted and offset, creating an irregular magnetosphere that interacts unpredictably with the solar wind. Even here, far from the Sun, invisible streams of charged particles continue to shape space. Neptune's moons add further intrigue. Triton, the largest, orbits in the opposite direction of Neptune's rotation, a strong clue that it did not form here, but was captured long ago. Triton is cold and bright, its surface composed of nitrogen ice and frozen methane. Geysers erupt from beneath its surface, spraying plumes of dark material into the thin atmosphere, driven not by heat, but by sunlight penetrating translucent ice. These eruptions leave streaks across Triton's surface, subtle reminders that even in the coldest regions, change still occurs. Smaller moons orbit farther out, irregular and dark, remnants of collisions and capture events long past. As we move beyond Neptune, the solar system begins to feel truly distant. The Sun is now just another star, brighter than most, but no longer commanding attention. Shadows dominate. Light arrives slowly, gently. Here, the planets are spaced so far apart that travel between them feels almost abstract. Distances are measured not in millions, but in billions of kilometers. Motion feels slower, not because speed has changed, but because scale has grown immense. The ice giants mark a turning point. Beyond them, the solar system transitions from structured orbits and familiar planetary companions to something more diffuse, more uncertain. The gravitational grip of the Sun still holds, but its influence weakens with every passing moment. Ahead lies the Kuiper Belt, a vast, distant disk of icy bodies, remnants of planetary formation, drifting quietly at the edge of known planetary space. As Uranus and Neptune fade behind us, their blue glows shrinking into the starfield, we cross into a region where planets are no longer dominant. The solar system stretches outward one final time, and the quiet deepens even further. Chapter 7. The Kuiper Belt. Beyond the last orbit of Neptune, the solar system loosens its grip, not abruptly, not with a clear boundary, but gradually, as though certainty itself begins to thin. The Sun still holds dominion here, but its authority feels distant, stretched across an immense and quiet expanse. This is the Kuiper Belt, a vast, flattened region extending far beyond the known planets, populated by countless icy bodies left over from the solar system's formation. Unlike the Asteroid Belt, whose rocky fragments circle relatively close to the Sun, the Kuiper Belt exists in deep cold, where sunlight is weak and time moves slowly. At first, it feels empty. Objects are small, faint, and widely spaced. There are no grand silhouettes here, no dramatic storms or luminous rings. Instead, fragments drift, silently frozen remnants, preserved almost exactly as they were billions of years ago. These bodies are composed largely of ice, water, methane, ammonia, and more exotic frozen compounds. Mixed with rock and dust, they form worlds that have never known warmth, never melted, never changed. They simply endure. As we continue outward, individual objects begin to reveal themselves. Some are irregular and dark, absorbing most of the little sunlight that reaches them. Others reflect faint glimmers, their icy surfaces catching light briefly before releasing it back into the void. Many of these objects follow tilted, elongated orbits, evidence of gravitational disturbances, long ago echoes of planetary migration during the solar system's youth. The giant planets did not always reside where they are now. Their slow movements reshaped this distant region, scattering objects into new paths, locking some into resonances, sending others outward forever. Among these distant bodies drifts Pluto. Once considered the ninth planet, Pluto now occupies a category of its own, a dwarf planet, small yet complex. From afar, it appears unremarkable, but closer inspection reveals a surprisingly active world. Pluto's surface is a patchwork of frozen plains, rugged mountains, and nitrogen glaciers that slowly flow despite temperatures near absolute zero. Its heart-shaped region, Tombo Regio, reflects light brightly, standing out against darker terrain. Beneath its icy crust may lie a subsurface ocean, insulated by layers of frozen material. Pluto's atmosphere is thin and temporary, forming only when it moves closer to the sun, then freezing and falling back to the surface as it drifts away. Seasons here last centuries, dictated by long, eccentric orbits. Its companion, Charon, orbits so closely that the two bodies are locked in mutual rotation, spinning around a shared center of mass. Together, they dance through space as partners rather than primary and satellite. Other dwarf planets inhabit this realm as well. Haumea, spinning rapidly with an elongated shape. Makemake, cold and distant. Eris, massive and remote, whose discovery helped redefine what a planet truly is. Each of these worlds challenges assumptions. They remind us that size does not determine complexity, and distance does not guarantee simplicity. The Kuiper Belt is not merely a graveyard of debris, it is a library. Here, the solar system's earliest materials remain largely unchanged. These objects carry the chemical signatures of the primordial disk from which all planets formed. They preserve stories written before Earth had oceans, before the Moon had settled into its orbit. Comets often originate here. When gravitational nudges send a Kuiper Belt object inward, it becomes active. Ice sublimates into gas, forming glowing comas and tails that stretch across millions of kilometers. These visitors briefly illuminate the inner solar system before returning to darkness or vanishing entirely. But out here, in their native environment, Kuiper Belt objects are quiet. No tails, no glow, just frozen stillness. As we drift through this region, the sense of scale becomes overwhelming. The Kuiper Belt extends tens of billions of kilometers from the Sun, yet remains sparsely populated. Objects are so far apart that even at great speed, encounters are rare. Time stretches. Communication with Earth would now take many hours. Commands would arrive long after they were sent, replies delayed beyond relevance. The idea of immediacy dissolves. Everything here operates on patience. The Sun, once brilliant and commanding, now appears as a bright star, still central, but no longer dominant. Its light casts only a weak glow, insufficient to warm, barely enough to illuminate. The sky is darker here. Stars shine more sharply, unobscured by glare. The Milky Way becomes more prominent, a luminous band stretching across the void, hinting at the vast galaxy beyond this small stellar neighborhood. In this quiet, the solar system feels finite. For the first time, it seems possible to imagine its edge. Not a wall, not a boundary, but a gradual thinning, a transition from solar space to something larger, older, and far less familiar. Beyond the Kuiper Belt lies the scattered disk, where objects follow extreme orbits, flung outward by Neptune's gravity. And beyond that, the Sun's final influence, the Heliosphere, a vast bubble carved into interstellar space by solar wind. But here, among the frozen remnants, we pause. This is the solar system remembering itself. Every object here has waited billions of years in darkness, unchanged, unobserved, unaffected by the events unfolding closer to the Sunday civilizations, rose and fell without their notice. Stars exploded elsewhere in the galaxy without disturbing their orbits. They exist outside narrative, outside urgency. As we move beyond the densest reaches of the Kuiper Belt, objects become rarer still. Darkness deepens. The sense of transition grows stronger. The Sun's influence has not ended, but it has weakened enough that another medium waits just beyond. Ahead lies the boundary shaped not by gravity alone, but by motion and pressure. The invisible frontier where the solar wind slows, where the Sun's presence thins, and where interstellar space begins to whisper, the Heliosphere awaits. Chapter 8. The Heliosphere. Far beyond the last scattered bodies of the Kuiper Belt, the solar system no longer feels like a collection of worlds. It feels like a breath. Here, space is shaped not by planets or moons, but by something far less visible, the solar wind. A constant stream of charged particles flowing outward from the Sun, expanding in all directions, carving a vast, invisible bubble into the surrounding galaxy. This bubble is the Heliosphere. From the inside, it is almost impossible to sense. There are no walls, no markers, no sudden shift in scenery. The transition is gradual, subtle, unfolding across billions of kilometers. Yet this region defines the true reach of the Sun's influence not through gravity alone, but through motion and pressure. The solar wind begins at the Sun's outer atmosphere, where heat drives particles away into space at hundreds of kilometers per second. Near the inner planets, this wind is strong and dynamic, shaping magnetic fields and creating auroras. But as it travels outward, it spreads thin, slowing gradually as it pushes against the sparse gas of interstellar space. Here, in the distant outskirts of the solar system, that flow weakens. The particles still move outward, but they begin to encounter resistance, the faint but persistent pressure of material drifting between the stars. Hydrogen atoms, cosmic dust, and magnetic fields from the galaxy itself press back, quietly, endlessly. This slow confrontation shapes the heliosphere's structure. First, the solar wind decelerates at a region known as the termination shock. Like a river meeting a still lake, the particles lose speed, becoming more turbulent. Their organized flow breaks into waves and eddies, invisible but real. Beyond this lies the heliosheath, a vast, chaotic region where solar and interstellar influences intermingle. Here, magnetic fields twist and fold. Particles collide, exchange energy, and change direction. The environment becomes unstable, unpredictable, yet strangely balanced. There is no light to guide us here. Illumination comes only from distant stars, and even they feel removed. The Sun, once a commanding presence, now appears as just another bright point in the sky. Its warmth is gone entirely. Temperatures approach the background cold of space, just a few degrees above absolute zero. Motion slows, activity fades. The solar system exhales its last. The heliosphere is not static. It pulses and shifts over time, responding to changes in solar activity and the surrounding interstellar medium. During periods of intense solar wind, the bubble expands slightly. During quieter times, it contracts. Over millions of years, its shape evolves as the Sun moves through different regions of the galaxy. It is not perfectly spherical. Instead, it stretches into a teardrop shape, compressed on one side and elongated on the other, sculpted by the Sun's journey through interstellar space. Inside this bubble, cosmic radiation from distant supernovae and energetic galactic sources is partially deflected. The heliosphere acts as a shield, reducing the intensity of high-energy particles that reach the inner solar system. Without it, Earth's environment would be far more hostile. This protective role is quiet and uncelebrated, yet fundamental. Every planet, every moon, every grain of dust orbiting the Sun exists within this boundary. It is the final layer of separation between home and the galaxy at large. As we drift deeper into the heliosheath, the sense of direction becomes abstract. There is no longer a clear outward or inward feeling, only relative motion. Forces here are subtle, competing, balanced across enormous distances. Time stretches further. Signals sent back toward Earth would now take more than a day to arrive. Even at the speed of light, the solar system reveals its true scale. Distance becomes not a number, but a delay. The silence here is profound. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of equilibrium, when nothing dominates enough to make itself heard. Motion exists, but gently. Energy flows, but slowly. Change occurs, but on timescales far beyond human experience. This is the Sun's last domain. Beyond this region lies the Heliopause, the boundary where solar influence finally yields to the galaxy. Not a wall, but a transition. A place where outward solar pressure equals inward interstellar pressure, and neither advances. We are not there yet. For now, we remain within the heliosphere, suspended in the Sun's fading breath. It is a humbling place, a reminder that even a star's reach has limits. From here, the planets we visited earlier feel impossibly distant. Jupiter's storms, Saturn's rings, Earth's oceans, all exist far within this immense bubble, now invisible, unreachable by sight. What remains is awareness. Awareness of how small this system is within the galaxy, how delicate its boundaries are, how much of what we call home depends on unseen forces acting quietly, continuously. As we drift closer to the Heliopause, subtle changes begin to appear. Galactic particles grow more numerous. The Sun's magnetic influence weakens further. The balance shifts, millimeter by millimeter, over distances larger than entire planetary orbits. Ahead lies the true edge. Not the end of space, not the end of the journey, but the end of the solar system's voice. And as we approach that quiet frontier, we prepare to cross from the familiar into the vast unknown beyond, where interstellar space begins and the galaxy waits in silence. Chapter 9. Crossing the Heliopause. There is no dramatic moment when the solar system ends. No sudden darkness. No visible line. No sensation of crossing a threshold. And yet, here it is. The Heliopause. An invisible frontier where the Sun's influence finally yields to the wider galaxy. A boundary not defined by distance alone, but by balance, the delicate equilibrium between the outward pressure of the solar wind and the inward pressure of interstellar space. As we drift closer, the environment changes almost imperceptibly. Solar particles become fewer, more scattered. Galactic particles grow more frequent, arriving from directions the Sun does not control. Magnetic fields shift their orientation, no longer aligned with the familiar patterns shaped by our star. This is not a wall, it is a blending. On one side, the solar system's breath fades. On the other, the galaxy exhales. For billions of years, the Sun has carved a cavity through the interstellar medium, a moving bubble carried along as the solar system orbits the center of the Milky Way. Now, at this distant edge, that cavity thins until it can no longer hold. The solar wind slows to a stop, not suddenly, but gradually, like a tide losing momentum. Charged particles that once streamed freely outward now drift, collide, and turn back. The Sun's magnetic field, stretched thin across unimaginable distances, weakens until it can no longer impose order. Here, the heliosphere ends. Beyond this point, space no longer belongs to the Sunday. The interstellar medium takes over a vast ocean of sparse gas, dust, and cosmic radiation, filling the spaces between stars. It is far from empty. In fact, it is the raw material from which stars and planets are born, recycled endlessly across cosmic time. As we cross the Heliopause, the balance tips. Galactic cosmic rays become more prominent high-energy particles accelerated by distant supernovae, neutron stars, and black holes. They arrive without regard for the solar system, traveling at near light speed across thousands of light years. Inside the heliosphere, many of these particles were deflected or slowed. Outside, they move freely. The difference is subtle, but profound. We are no longer sheltered. The Sun's protective influence, which quietly guarded the inner worlds for billions of years, is now behind us. Its presence lingers only as memory, a distant glow among countless other stars. Light itself feels different here. The Sun, once central, now blends into the background of the Milky Way. Its brightness no longer defines direction. Shadows are governed not by a single source, but by the collective glow of the galaxy. Stars appear sharper, more numerous. The sky deepens, revealing layers of the Milky Way that were once hidden by solar glare. Dust lanes cut dark paths through luminous clouds of distant stars, hinting at regions where new suns are forming. This is interstellar space. It is colder than anything we have encountered. Temperatures hover just a few degrees above absolute zero. Motion is slow. Encounters are rare. A single hydrogen atom may drift for years without meeting another. Yet this space is not dead. Within it, complex chemistry unfolds quietly. Atoms bond, molecules form, grains of dust accumulate icy mantles. Over millions of years, clouds condense, collapse, and ignite, giving birth to new stars and planetary systems. We are now part of that larger process, no longer bound to one star's domain, but immersed in the galaxy itself. Behind us, the Heliopause recedes, indistinguishable from the surrounding darkness. There is no marker to remember it by. Only a change in environment, a shift in influence. The solar system is now a distant island. Its planets orbit quietly within their shrinking bubble of space, unaware of how small their domain truly is. Earth continues its path, wrapped in atmosphere and ocean, shielded by forces it never sees. From here, it is just another world around another star. As we drift farther outward, the idea of edge dissolves entirely. Space stretches endlessly in all directions. There is no center, no boundary, only gradients of density and light. The galaxy surrounds us. Stars vary in age, size, and color. Some are young and blue, burning fiercely and briefly. Others are old and red, slowly fading into quiet retirement. Between them lie remnants, white dwarfs, neutron stars, black holes, silent witnesses to stellar lives long past. Distances here are measured in light years. Concepts of travel lose their meaning. Even at incredible speed, Crossing the galaxy would take tens of thousands of years. And yet, the universe does not feel hostile. It feels patient. There is no urgency in interstellar space. No schedules. No destinations. Everything unfolds on timescales that dwarf civilizations, species, even planets. It invites stillness. As we continue drifting, the solar system fades completely from relevance. The sun is now indistinguishable from neighboring stars. Its planets are invisible, lost in glare and distance. Home becomes an idea rather than a place. And perhaps that is the quiet lesson of this crossing, that what feels vast from within can feel small from without. That protection can exist without awareness. That boundaries are often softer than we imagine. Ahead lies no specific destination, only continuation. The galaxy extends beyond sight, beyond mapping, beyond comprehension. Each star system holds its own story, its own arrangement of worlds, its own fragile balance between order and chaos. We have crossed from the familiar into the infinite. And as the last traces of the solar system dissolve into the background, we drift onward, not towards something specific, but into something larger. A deeper silence, a wider perspective, and a final, gentle awareness that this journey does not truly end. It simply opens outward. Chapter 10. Interstellar Silence. Beyond the Heliopause, there is no longer a sense of departure, no feeling of leaving something behind. There is only space. Not the space we once knew, shaped by a star, warmed by a sun, organized into orbits and systems, but a deeper, quieter expanse where structure loosens and certainty dissolves. Interstellar space does not announce itself. It simply continues. Here, distance becomes the dominant presence, not as a measurement, but as an experience. Objects are so far apart that interaction feels improbable. A single atom may travel for years without encountering another. Motion exists, but so slowly that stillness feels absolute. Light moves on without preference. Photons released from distant stars travel endlessly, crossing voids larger than imagination. Some will never encounter matter again. Others will brush past a grain of dust, scatter slightly, and continue on a new path altered forever by the smallest of encounters. The cold here is profound. Temperatures hover just above absolute zero, where motion slows to its bare minimum. Energy does not vanish, but it spreads thin, diluted across immense volumes of space. Yet even here, nothing is truly empty. Interstellar space is filled with the faintest whisper of material hydrogen atoms, helium nuclei, traces of heavier elements forged in ancient stars. Dust grains drift slowly, coated in thin layers of ice, carrying complex molecules across light years. These particles are the galaxy's memory. They are remnants of stars that lived and died long before our sun was born. Supernovae scattered them outward in vast explosions, enriching space with the ingredients needed for new worlds. Every planet, every ocean, every living cell owes its existence to these quiet travelers. In this silence, time feels different. There are no cycles to mark its passage. No days, no nights, no seasons, only gradual change, unfolding over millions of years. Clouds of gas slowly gather. Gravity whispers rather than commands. Collapse, when it comes, is gentle and patient. Somewhere far away, a cloud may be condensing its core, growing denser, warmer, brighter. One day, it will ignite, and a new star will be born. Around it, planets may form. Perhaps on one of them, life will emerge and look outward, wondering what lies beyond its sky. But here, in the space between, nothing rushes toward that future. The Milky Way stretches around us like a vast, luminous river. Billions of stars trace its spiral arms, their combined light forming a soft glow against the darkness. Dust lanes cut through it, dark and winding, hiding regions where stars are forming. Our Sun is one of these countless points, ordinary, unremarkable from this perspective. Its planets are invisible, its history indistinguishable from millions of others. And yet, within that small system, awareness arose. Perhaps that is the quiet miracle of the universe, not its size, not its power, but its capacity to know itself, even briefly, through small, fragile observers. Interstellar silence is not loneliness. It is neutrality. There is no judgment here, no intention, no direction imposed. Space does not care whether something exists or not. It simply allows. This can feel unsettling or deeply calming. There is nothing expected of you here, nothing to accomplish, nothing to become, just presence. As we drift deeper into the galaxy, stars slowly shift relative to one another. Parallax reveals depth. Distances rearrange themselves subtly. What once seemed like a flat sky becomes a layered, three-dimensional ocean of light. Some stars burn hot and blue, living fast, destined to die young in brilliant explosions. Others glow softly and red, enduring for trillions of years, long after larger stars have vanished. Stellar remnants linger as well, white dwarfs cooling into darkness, neutron stars spinning silently, black holes marking where stars once were. All coexist without conflict. Interstellar space does not favor any outcome. Creation and destruction happen without drama, without meaning imposed from outside. And yet, meaning emerges wherever awareness does. Here, far from any world, far from any star's immediate influence, thought itself begins to slow. Without landmarks, the mind releases its need to orient, to categorize, to anticipate. There is nothing ahead that must be reached. Nothing behind that must be remembered. Only the gentle continuation of motion. Even direction loses clarity. Up and down dissolve. Forward and backward become arbitrary. There is only drift carried by the galaxy's slow rotation, by gravity's long reach, by time itself. The solar system is now truly gone from relevance. Not erased, just distant. Its story continues without us. Planets orbit, moons rise and fall, comets return and depart. None of it depends on observation. And somewhere, on a small blue world, night falls again. In interstellar silence, that world is no more important than any other, and that, strangely, is comforting, because it means nothing must be proven, nothing must be defended, nothing must last forever to matter. As the journey stretches onward, the universe does not close in, it opens, layer after layer, scale after scale. Beyond the galaxy lie others countless islands of stars scattered across the cosmic web. Beyond them, darkness stretches further still, punctuated by faint light from ancient beginnings. We do not need to go there. It is enough to know that space continues calm, vast, and indifferent, offering room for both existence and rest. And so we drift. No destination, no urgency, no edge to reach. Only the soft awareness of being suspended within something immeasurably larger, and the quiet permission to let go. The journey does not need to end with distance. It ends with stillness. Somewhere far behind us, the solar system continues its quiet motion. Planets trace their familiar paths. Moons rise and fall. Comets return after long absences. Nothing we have seen tonight has stopped existing simply because we drifted away. And somewhere within that small system, Earth turns once more toward night. Here, suspended in the vast calm between stars, there is nothing left to reach for, no boundary to cross, no edge to define. Space stretches on, patient and unchanged, carrying every story without asking it to hurry. The universe does not require attention. It does not demand understanding. It simply allows. As thoughts soften, you may notice how easily the mind releases its grip when there is nothing to hold. Distance dissolves urgency. Scale quiets concern. What once felt heavy becomes light enough to drift. You are not moving now. You are being carried. Carried by time. Carried by gravity. Carried by the same gentle forces that guide stars and worlds through the dark. There is no need to imagine what comes next. The universe will continue whether watched or not. New stars will form, old ones will fade, and somewhere, life will look up again and wonder, just as we did. For now, rest in the silence. Let the vastness remain vast. Let the darkness stay soft. Let the steady rhythm of space slow everything within you. If sleep comes, allow it. If wakefulness lingers, that is fine too. You are exactly where you need to be, floating quietly, held by nothing, supported by everything. And when you are ready, you can return to this journey again, knowing that the universe will still be here, unchanged, unhurried, and endlessly calm.